Oh, for for 10 inspectors, that's a lot.
Everyone, we stayed until 10:20. No, 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 no. Wait, everybody told me 10:30. I knew what time it was. It was 10:20. And the majority of it was spent, so every time add up, right? So I'm actually going to start now, even though we're not set up there, although some people are going to yell at me that we didn't get started. So I'm going to start there. The second thing, so before I do anything else, right, before I do anything else, I want to go over some ground rules. And if anybody breaks these ground rules after they come in because they were late, just pull them to the side and tell them what the ground rules are, right? You're not allowed to speak more than one time. Any one issue before anybody else get to speak. And I'm going to say it's not in the bylaws, but no one is allowed to speak more than 3 times on any issue. Because I think after that, you just want to be heard. Okay? So you get one turn to speak. And then if there's a follow-up, you follow up. And then I might give you a third time. If you're the only one speaking, we're not debating back and forth. Okay? But I want to be clear that we can't call me up and complain about the length of the meeting if you're the one adding to the length of the meeting. That makes sense? Some of us, I say it out loud, some of us think that what we have to say is more important than what the next person has to say. So I'm going to view that everybody is equal in what they have to say. That makes sense? That includes myself. So if I'm talking too much, you let me know that too. Just give me two fingers and I know I'll shut up. Not you, June. It's Chair Prasad. Not Chair Prasad. All right? So I want to get started real fast. I'm good? All right. So first and foremost, everyone, welcome to Community Board 17 meeting for our May 2023 meeting. I am Roderick Daly. I'm the chair of the board, and I don't have a gavel, but it's now 7:05, and I called the meeting to order. First and foremost, happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers. I missed that. Unfortunately, the meeting came after Mother's Day. I have a wonderful mother, wonderful wife, and some great mothers in my family. I'm sure you do the same. Every mother thinks they're the greatest mother in the world, so that's a good thing. Raise your hand if you're the greatest mom. Raise your hand. Really? I need to see more hands than that, you know? So happy Mother's Day to all of you. I would like to recognize at this moment all of our new board members. So all of our new board members, please stand. All of our new, I know there were more than that. I saw a couple more. Where's Tamara? I saw Tamara. Oh, you're right there. All right. So just very quickly, extremely quickly, just tell me your name. That's it. Right? So your name is, say it again. Simone Sylvester. Naj Austin, pleasure. Kamara Swaby, excellent. Dan McCabe. Trisha Lewison. Haslot Person. I'm going to learn that name. I can't hear it from back here. Your name, sir? You're Paul Ivorg. Okay, perfect. Did I miss any new member? Oh, in the back. Menachem Shadowitz. Guys, please, everybody give yourself a round of applause. Are you a new member, ma'am, to the board? Okay, no, I saw you walk in. I didn't know if you heard when I asked. So congratulations and welcome. Let me do the clap. All right, so congratulations to all of you. The community board did, and Inspector Saliba, when he comes up, he will talk about that a little bit more. The community board did a walkthrough, and our first vice chair in his report will talk about our walkthrough. We did a walkthrough on April 22nd. It was beautiful, a lot of community concerns. A lot of us were there. It was great, and we need to do it more often. So next time we do it, hopefully we have more people. Our first vice chair, Cunningham, will say that in his report. The new list, I just did that, so I don't have to go through that. Summer youth employment is coming around. So it's very important. I'm so pleased today that our Chair Grandison, raise your hand, Chair Grandison, and Chair Antoine in the back, and myself did a career day. A lot of these young people have grandiose ideas about what they want to be, but absolutely no clue of what it takes to get there. And so if you have a business and or your business want to have some interns, some young people to come out and work, please feel free to apply to those summer youth employment. You can speak to our Chair of Youth and Education, Chair Grandison, to follow up, or we can shoot me an email and I'll follow up with a couple of organizations, Sesame Flyers for one, Elite Learners, CCM, and a few others who can help you get a youth working with you for the summer. It is so important. I mean, you ask them what it takes to be a lawyer. So one kid answered today, it took 12 years to be a lawyer. 12 years. And the child was a junior in high school. Right? So, I mean, something simple like that they didn't know is 4 years of undergrad and 3 years of law school. So really need your help to inspire our young people, especially our young people of color who are living in our community that makes up a large percentage of our community. The MTA walkthrough that we did, myself and District Manager Frazier and Chair Grandison, we went through MTA. They're doing, in case you don't know, for those of you who are new, they're looking at new ways of the buses and the busing system within our city, within our district. For example, they want to introduce a new B10 bus on East New York Avenue. And I complained, I'm like, there is no bus between East New York and Kings Highway because they're now moving the B47 to Kings Highway. I'm moving off Oxon Avenue. So I'm like, what's going to happen to our young people? And especially that's one of the more violent parts of our community. So that's one of the conversations I have in terms of looking at that. Please make sure that you're not ignoring some of the conversations that they're having about things that happen in your community, because it's going to come and then you're going to complain after the fact. Please try to get to that. We are planning on doing a welcoming end of year culmination event for all board members and meet and greet. That should be coming up. Our Chair Prasad or Chair Galbraith will be discussing that, but we plan to do that this month. I mean, not this month, next month. One of my biggest thing, and I've been talking about it back and forth, we're having conversations, is about unused time. That's a big deal. We're working on that. I've been bringing us up for a couple of months. So by the end of June, all of the board, all of the staff members will know the final thought on what they're going to be able to carry over next year. The board, and I'm saying this out loud for myself, who's the chair, or anybody else who's the chair, cannot afford, because I said it last month, you get a finite budget, whatever that budget is. So if he works to the board and what's my English today? We owe him 5 weeks of his salary, and we only get $200,000. That means that 5 weeks come out from the top. That means the board is working at a deficit. And if you have 4 staff members and each one is owed 5 weeks, that's 20 weeks that comes out of the budget. So I just want to make sure that that's one of the reasons why I keep pushing that the staff needs to spend their time. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, 2 events, one this Friday. I don't know if her staff will be here, but one this Friday, each community board member will get an invitation. I think ADM Gordon sent it out already, right? And send out the invite for Friday from 6 to 8. It will be right here. The second event, which is specifically for board members and community members, will be coming up in June. We have, her office and I are in conversation to finalize the date and time of that event. So I'll let you know, but this Friday from 6 to 8, all board members and business, they're talking about energy and energy money, what to do with that. Community-based organization such and such will be right here on Friday from 6 to 8. If you did not get the invite, District ADM, please raise your hand. ADM, please raise your hand. See her in the back. Because some of you, we did not get new emails for you and stuff like that, or bad emails. If you didn't get it already, see her. And if you want to get it, see her. Either way, she could give you her email. And that ends my report. And I thank you. The next person to come up, and if I remember, I'm forgetful, ladies and gentlemen, so if I remember something, I'll bring back up later, but I'll minimize that. District Manager Frazier. Oh yeah, and everyone, again, I'm reminding people, look at the agenda, look at the time that's allotted to you, and you got it on the screen? Oh yes, perfect. Pay attention to the time on the screen. Got it? Appreciate it. District Manager Frazier, 5 minutes.
I'm going to take your 38 seconds, 36,
You get
35.
my 30 seconds as well? Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. My brief report, I did visit with the chairperson and Chair Grandison, attended the bus route redesign outreach on April the 25th at the Flatbush Junction. That's on Flatbush Avenue and Avenue H. I did stress the impact, the B6 removal, the B6 removal of the B6 bus stop, I should say, will have on two schools in close proximity to that bus stop, PS IS 109 and PS 198. Both schools utilize the stop on Albany Avenue and Glenwood Road. Moving the stop will require students to walk an extremely long block to Avenue H. As I stated last month, this project is in its early phase. Therefore, all requests will be reviewed and taken into consideration. Keep your ears out for the next session, community session. We must go out and voice our concerns.
And move a step away from it.
A district service cabinet meeting was held on April 26th. I met with several agencies regarding service delivery to the district. We do have some long-term ongoing issues that I addressed with the agencies, including the need for inspection and corrective actions at Snyder Avenue between East 58 and 59th Street. The flooding condition, DEP did respond. They were out there, they inspected the location, and they reported their findings to DOT, and subsequently, DOT inspected and determined there was a roadway depression and recommended repairs. At last month's meeting, I asked residents to submit any complaints they may have. I did receive a few, and I continue to work on those complaints. If you are on our email blast, you should have received a link to our capital and expense budget form. I know that Mr. Cunningham will share some more information on the completion and submission of that form, but we must read information that we receive from the board and submit your request by email. If you're interested in being added to our listserv, visit the table on the back or visit our website. We do have forms. Any committee you're interested in sitting on, we have the committee forms there in the back. And you could visit our website at nyc.gov/BKCB17. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our newly appointed members of CB17. If my numbers are correct, I believe we have 21 new members, which makes us a full board of 50 members for the very first time in a long time. So, I've been around. So thank you to our BP. Give them a round of applause. Thank you to our BP's office for your diligence. And to make this happen, quorum is always very important for us to move our agenda forward. So thank you again. Welcome. And I look forward to working with you to progress the agenda of the board. If you have any questions, real quick, I'll take a few seconds to answer. And if none, I yield the floor back to the chairperson of the board. Oh. Yes, the B6. It's on Albany. The stop is on Albany.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Tate. Do we have an extra mic? Somebody on the floor so we can hear? Can we get a mic?
Yeah, because I know it's a stop sign.
A bus stop sign or a four-way stop sign? Bus stop or four-way?
It says bus stop, it's a number 6 bus, right in front of 109. So I was wondering, because I meant to ask what was that all about?
No,
Oh.
during school hours, right? So I'll just answer that for her. During school hours, sometimes they reroute the bus
Yeah.
to the school during school hours. But now that they plan to change the route, We don't know if that's still gonna be there, but during school hours,
Yes.
they reroute some buses towards that
Yeah,
area.
because that sign wasn't, I was there. It went up recently.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was no sign there. I am going to stop by and take a look at that.
East 45th
Because
Street.
what they're proposing to do is for the
Yeah.
B6 bus to run straight down Avenue H.
Okay,
So I'm definitely going to walk by there tomorrow and take a look at it.
thank you.
You're very welcome. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I regret to inform you, I mean, I did say it last month, but those of you who are new, our secretary is out on FEMLA. She gets FEMLA from the board. So in the meantime, we don't have a secretary. And our Oni Montserrat Oni, right? Did I get it right? Right? Will be taking up the duties as communications chair. I can appoint somebody to be secretary, but if anybody comes on and want to assist in that capacity until June, please do shoot me an email and a message and we can tell you what it entails. I did forget that. So wish her well. She's just out sick. She has some personal issues, medical issues to deal with. All right, thank you. District manager committee reports. Hospitality is not here. Chair Prasad, did you speak to me? You want to give a report on that or no, when you give your report? All right, so you can still speak about tentative. Is that okay? All right. Budget committee? Oh, let me not do that first. First vice chair's report. Let's do that first. You have a couple of things that you want to go over.
Well, good afternoon. Well, good night to everyone. I'm Asher Cunningham, Chair of the Budget Committee and the first Vice Chair. I will be reporting to you this evening on the walkthrough that we did last month, Committee Board 17, along with the 67 Precinct, Deputy Inspector Saliba, he's here. Inspector Saliba, he's here, and Assembly Member Waterman. We walked throughout the district and basically interacted with community members, business owners, and I would say it was a very successful walkthrough. We got to hear from a lot of community members regarding just a lot of the things that they would like to see, particularly about businesses and business concerns that they would like to see addressed within the neighborhood. So hopefully in the near future, we would be able to do a lot more of these walks. We talked about in our executive meeting, hopefully a lot of the committees would also go out on a lot of these walks because it is very helpful for our community to see our face as board members who represent the community at large. So thank you, Inspector Saliba, and thank you, Assembly Member Waterman, for coming out with us and putting on this successful event. And lastly, I'll be reporting on the capital expense budget process. So as Ms. Frazier has reported, we have begun the capital expense process. Ms. Frazier has shared with all board members and committee members the Google form that we are using to collect the capital expense request. Again, this is a very important process for communities all across New York to contribute to the process and to different things that you would like to see done within our neighborhood and our community. So please take some time, go through your emails and complete that form so we can, I guess, get solid response regarding the capital expense process. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
I'm going to interrupt myself for a little bit. Back in February, way back in February, we had given out some from honoring for our, was it March? That we did March, that we did for our ladies, and some of them were not at the March meeting. So I'm just going to quickly call out their names so they could come up and receive if they're here. If not, then we're going to have to do it by mail because, right? Dr. Natalie Ferguson, are you here? I didn't see her. All right. We had recognized all the women for Women's History Month for the work that you're doing on the board. Dr. Carol Renault, please come forward. Please give her. Hershey. And Chair Reed. Chair Janice Reed. While I'm doing that, Commerce Chair, please come forward. Chair Daly, thank you so much for the work. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're next. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is June Prasad, and I am the Chair of the Commerce Committee. So I would like to ask everyone to share, save the date for our sumptuous sample, which will be held on June 27th from 6 to 10 p.m. at J Loft. Flyers to be followed, maybe by next month. For the benefit of the new board members, I would just like to give a brief explanation on the liquor license process, which usually take place at the Commerce Committee meeting. Step one, applicants are required to submit a 30-day notice by certified mail to the board office. That application then comes before the Commerce Committee, and we vote on it before it comes to the general board for a vote. If the application is approved by the voting process at the general board, we then send a letter of recommendation to the State Liquor Authority, which is known as the SLA. That agency makes the final decision. So we are mainly a recommendation. We serve as a recommendation. You may hear the term off-premise and on-premise. Okay. He loves to interrupt. You may hear the term off-premise and on-premise, which is usually used a lot in the liquor establishment. So on-premise means restaurant, bars, where alcohol is consumed on-premise or on the location. Off-premise means liquor store, wine stores, where alcohol is purchased and not consumed at that location. Okay, so if you hear the terminology, then, that's what it means. I would like to just share a brief explanation of the 200-foot rule. The Alcohol Beverage Control Law provides certain license from being issued if the location of the establishment is on the same street and within 200 feet of a building that is used exclusively as a school, church, synagogue, or any other place of worship. This restriction is commonly called the 200-foot rule and applies to any retail establishment where liquor will be sold for on-premise consumption and any retail establishment where liquor or wine will be sold for consumption off the premise. So I hope this information is helpful for the new members because later on we have to vote on applications. I'm also recruiting members for the Commerce Committee. I want members who will be attending meetings. I can be seen over there by the banner in the corner. I have applications with me. Thank you, and I think I will be giving a brief report on the meet and greet, which I was just pulled into. That ends my report, Chair Daly.
Thank you. Our treasurer has a report that he would like to give. Treasurer Lewis, are you ready or waiting? Should I call the next committee first? All right, next committee is Youth and Education. In essence of time, housing is next, then land use. Oh, land use's birthday today, so he's gonna be out. Did somebody give him a land use report for our land use trip? Okay, no. Housing is not here. Parks and beautification to follow. If you do have agenda, please check it. We're trying to go in order.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gail Brandison, and I'm Chair of the Youth and Education Committee. I want to start off first by giving some personal and public thank yous. Last week, instead of our meeting, we had a Cops and Kids event in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club that is located on Bedford Avenue. Really great event, which I had seen more people there. But I want to give special thanks to Inspector Saliba and members of the 6-7 Precinct Department who came out, show their support, and navigate the role playing with our young people, our 6-7 Youth Explorers. There were 2 of them there, so I'm really appreciative of them being there. Officers Davis, Neal, Galloway, Bellinger, and Shahid. I think there was one other person there, but they didn't write their name, but please give them my thank yous and gratitude for being there. Mr. Stanley King, who is one of the directors at the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club, and his kids, they were really great. Our guest speaker was Mark Pollard. He's a lawyer by trade. I want to thank him publicly also. And for our community board and the Youth Education Committee, I want to thank Ms. Raddock for helping out with the logistics and speaking with the inspector to get those members of the NYPD there. Ms. Joan Backerdine for facilitating the rounds, the sessions with the kids. Our district manager, Ms. Frazier, our assistant district manager, Ms. Gordon Murray, for all the stuff that they did behind closed doors. Our staff person, Ms. Nadine Lyons, who's the community assistant, and members of the Education and Youth Committee. I thank everyone. I also want to thank 2 of my members who actually showed up there, Ms. Graham and Ms. McCain Brown. Thank you to them. Our next meeting is on June 8th at 7:30 p.m., and I hope that you can join us virtually. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Beautification.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Berlotte Antoine. I'm the chair for the Parks and Beautification Committee. Thanks to those who came to our last meeting. We had a hands-only CPR. This is good. In case something happened in the park, you know what to do. We will have our next event on June 10th, which will be a cleanup project at Tilden Park and Playground. Our partners are Elite Learners, so they will provide volunteers, they will work with us. So it will be Elite Learners and New York City Partnership for Parks. We will do that. All materials will be provided. If you want to volunteer, you can call the community board and give your name. If you want to bring your youth to volunteer, we welcome that as well. Call the board. So it will be June 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Tilden Park Playground. On June 6th, we will have our next meeting, and at that meeting, we will have a presentation on emergency preparedness. You all know that we are coming through the time of emergency, so you need to be prepared. If something happens in the park while you're enjoying yourself, don't panic, we got you. So come to the training. August 19, we will have our healthy eating and healthy cooking fair. We need to know how to eat healthy and to cook healthy on a budget. So this will be on June 19. More information will be provided. You can call the board as well if you want to be our partner or if you want to volunteer. Thank you, Chair Daly.
Thank you. Public Safety. Could somebody bring her no report? Thank you. Just wave your hand, Chair Welch, so everybody knows who the Chair of Public Safety is, especially for our new members. Chair Welch right there. Sanitation, Dr. Renaud. We're gonna need a mic, right? So we don't. No, remember it's recorded and sometimes it comes in inaudible. After her, then it's Chair Montserrat. It has it as only Montserrat, but it's supposed to be Montserrat only. Okay. Chair Oni.
Good evening, everyone. The complaints to sanitation continues, the removal of cars, the garbage, everything that's sanitation related. We want you to keep sending them in. You can email them in. Due to time constraints, we're not going to be taking any questions after this. cb17sanitation@gmail. We had a big cleanup last Saturday. The pictures are up on the board. 75 community residents across 6 to 7 different sites came out to clean up. We know that this is only a Band-Aid solution. This is topical. So we have to change the behavior of the people in the community. And we ask that the elected officials that are here, that they enforce the laws, all right? Because we have a lot of laws on the books that are not being enforced. Special thanks to Mr. Tate, Mr. Westcott, Ms. Bakaridine, Ms. Friesdat, and all of the team leaders who came out. We're going to be doing this the last Saturday of every month. Again, this is topical. We don't expect to be doing this forever. You can join us the third Monday of every month, sanitation meet. Again, cb17sanitation@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You do not have a report. Thank you. Chair, only just raise your hand so everybody knows who you are. She's also the communications chair, interim acting, right? Transportation chair, he has a family emergency, so he's not here. Personnel, she's not here as yet. Block Association, Dr. Ferguson's not here. Huh? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. Personnel is excused, thank you. Communications, do you have anything for communications, Chair? No? Bylaws? Bylaws followed by rezoning. Can you do them both together? Chair James, can you do both together? Thank you. Then swing back around to hospitality.
I'll take it to okay. Good evening. In accordance with the bylaws that specifically states that an individual, I'm just going to get the bylaws open. I can read it.
Chair James, can you put the mic down so everyone can hear?
My apologies. Sorry. Okay. According to the bylaws, amendments to the bylaws may be proposed by any member of the board at a regular or special board meeting. So as a member of the board, I am proposing the following changes to the bylaws. The bylaws also specify that when a change is made to the bylaws.
Point of order, point of order. You're giving your report as the chair.
Yes.
And if you're going to bring, wait, hold on. If you are going to bring a resolution or motion to the floor, it's not done during your report.
I'm not bringing a motion. I'm just bringing this to the attention of the board as
Hold on,
required.
1 second. You're just going to give the report of your last meeting.
Okay.
So what happened? So you talk about that, and if you want to bring something up, you can bring it up later.
Okay, fine. So at the bylaws last meeting, we discussed various issues with regard to the committees. And later on, at the appropriate time that the chair determines, I will propose an amendment as an individual that would like to consider to be voted on as stipulated by the bylaws. Can you skip through to rezoning? With, you can keep going through. With regard to rezoning, we're actively working on developing a rezoning plan. We were able to engage 3 consultants, Pratt Center, George Janes, and as well as Matrix, and they're working feverishly to come up with a rezoning plan. What we do need, though, is some money. And so, Mr. Chair, I do apologize for this. It was like a last-minute recognition of the fact, and I take responsibility for it. But according to the bylaws, since this is not a substantial interest to the general public, I would like to ask that we vote just to have a letter sent to a city council persons to request some funding. Again, I do apologize for that. What? For next year?
Are you asking for additional fund from what?
For
the-
2023, 24.
No, I'm asking, we had voted on some monies to give to you already. So you're asking for additional funding on top of that for,
Yeah,
Am
the
I
next,
correct?
yes,
For the
because
next year.
that has to be used up. And one, we're gonna have ongoing dialogue with DCP, and we need the support of these
Okay, gotcha.
consultants to facilitate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you have a question? Chair James, there's a question?
Chair James, on the rezoning, I know that there was some monies that were committed to an outside study. Could we have some discussion on that outside study in terms of what that money was allocated for in terms of rezoning?
Okay, we did not pay any money for an outside study. It was done on a pro bono basis by NYU Capstone. So it was done on a volunteer basis. That will be released, I would think, by the end of the week, when I finally go through the report. But that was not paid for. What we did vote for was to pay the consultants I named previously, and they have not yet been paid. They're actively working, but they have not been paid as yet.
Thank you. We have, ready? So we're gonna have the hospitality, followed by Treasurer Lewis, followed by Ms. Reed. Do you have a report, Ms. Reed? So followed by Ms. Reed in that order.
Greetings. I don't have a report, but I believe as was shared, we want to say welcome to those who are new members of Community Board 17. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you feel the love and the appreciation for serving our community. We want to be intentional in regards to cultivating this working relationship. And so we will be having a mixer for us to meet and greet and gather together on June 7th. Unfortunately, I will be traveling during that time, and so I am thankful and grateful for Chair June Fassard, who is assisting and will be taking the lead in regards to coordinating this meet and greet. And so we will turn that to her as we're leading for that. But June 7th will be our meet and greet.
Okay, I don't have too much to add so far because we're now in the planning process. But we would like to see everyone there. Can you guys hear me? Okay, everyone there because it's no fun planning something and no one shows up. You know, the hard work that I put into it. So it's gonna be a fun time. We would like to get this. I think this is like the first time we're doing something like this, right, Chair Daly? So be grateful, consider yourself, you know, happy to have that, and we're looking forward to a great time. Location to come and details to come, all right? We just have 2 weeks to plan it, but I promise it will be a successful event. Thank you.
She always does a successful event. While you walking up, Chair Reed, I said you always do a successful event.
Thank you. That's why they pushing me there.
Chair Reed, that's it, is that?
Good night, everyone. My name is Janice Reed, and I am the CB17 rep on the Community Advisory Board at Brookdale. Just to bring your attention to 2 events that are coming up. One is this Friday, May 19th from 12 to 4. It's called the Spring Forward into Wellness, and that is to connect various community agencies and programs basically to support children and family. And that will be held at the Brookdale Family Care Center on Eastern Parkway. And that's located at 1833 Eastern Parkway. There's a flyer in the back for you, those of you who would like to take one. And the other is about 3 health fairs that they'll be sponsoring, OBH Brookdale. And that will be, the first one will be on June 10th at the Brookdale Hospital, and the whole block will be blocked off from Rockaway Parkway to Linden Boulevard. And that the times is not really determined, but I can send you follow-up information regarding that. There's also 2 OBH Interfaith. They'll be having their health fair on June 15th, and the location to be determined. And then August 19th, right on Eastern Parkway, the Pierre Toussaint Health Clinic that's affiliated with King Brooks Medical Center. That's also to one of the OBH One Brooklyn Health partners. All the health fairs will be doing blood pressure screening, BMI, obesity, women's health issues, dental, food, nutrition. There'll be funds and games for the kids. There's also a flyer in the back for you to take as well. Thank you so much.
You're up. After that, Mr. Westcott, do you have a report? Please, no, okay, thank you.
All right, good night, everyone. For this year in particular, in terms of our budget, our total uncommitted budget so far is 36,114.65, according to the last report. There is some updates to that. And besides that, our discretionary fund was at 42,000, which has been put to good use. And, you know, that will look good to City Hall that we're using up that money correctly. And then in our fiscal next year, we could always ask for more. So we want to thank all the committees, everyone who has been involved in all the special events throughout the year so far. And, you know, we look into bigger and better things in the next year. In particular, the support for the budget committee is of key importance. The reason for that being, if we don't have the participation, the things that we are looking to fix, in particular, the flooding areas in our community, sidewalks, the parks, there was discussion about green spaces and so forth. All of these things are part of the budget committee. So everyone that wants to have a voice in that needs to look at the email. If you don't understand it, you could either reach out to me, you could reach out to the first vice chair so that we could explain and kind of give you some clarity. But we need that support because once it goes in, whatever commitments, that is all we're going to get. So whether it's from DP, whether it's from the EPA for environmental protection, et cetera, if these things are not a part of the budget, it does not go on their purview to be done in our community. So that in particular ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yes.
5,000, sorry.
42,000 was a while back. Discussion fund. All right, thank you. Did I miss any committee? I know some people weren't here when I started, so, okay, we're good to go. Agency report, Inspector Celebro. ADM, can I get the list of all the agencies that are here, please?
All right, good evening, everybody. Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Treasurer, everybody on the board, really just a pleasure to be here with you. Always appreciate coming out to the meetings because we value so much your partnership. And I think, Mr. Vice Chair, you mentioned the work that we did, because I believe at the last meeting we were at, we mentioned that we were gonna do that work, and I thought it was a pretty good success. I think I forgot to eat before I went out. I regretted it. Yeah. Yeah. So while we were out that day, Mr. Chair here helped prevented a crime from happening. We were walking on Church Avenue, and we heard a little bit of commotion. I'm walking with him, and a young lady caught our attention and says, "Oh, something is happening in that store." And when we walk into the store, what was happening was started out as a shoplifting, possibly maybe get upgraded to a robbery if we didn't intervene. So a young lady was in there taking the merchandise that didn't belong to her, and she looked like she was probably going to walk out with it, so thank you for that. Just overall, the precinct is doing very well in terms of crime. Last year, obviously, it was a little bit of an uphill battle This year, we got off to a very strong start this year. The commitment of the 6-7 precinct officers really went into overdrive. And in partnership with the community and everyone involved, we are able to keep things at bay, so to speak. Overall, we're down 2.3% in crime for the year. Robberies, we're down in robberies. Where we've seen a little bit of an uptick is in felony assaults. Large portion of that have to do with domestic violence incidents. We do have a domestic violence office where I have 2 sergeants and 8 police officers that is working vigorously to address the domestic violence issue. Obviously, it's not just a police issue. When the incidents happen, when you look at the areas of domestic violence, that's where our detectives have the greatest success in terms of case closure. So the minute that we get a complaint, an arrest warrant is put out immediately for that known perpetrator, and we make it our business to make sure that this person is arrested, whoever it is that committed that assault or whatever crime. And one such crime during the period, the last 30 days we had, was a homicide in our sector Charlie of a 49-year-old female. The officers that day did a wonderful job responding to the location. They were able to respond on time where an apprehension of the perpetrator was made that same instance. Very scary for the family, obviously, condolences to them. And but it just kind of goes to show you how the plan in terms of our responses to different crimes, how we go about it. And really kudos to those officers that responded that day to be able to make that arrest on scene, where the family didn't have to wait months and weeks for the perpetrator to be arrested. So thank you for that. You know, one of the major complaints that we get is abandoned cars, abandoned vehicles, illegally parked cars that are parked for months and months. You know, almost on a weekly basis. I don't want to say on a weekly basis because sometimes it's bi-weekly. We do joint operations with sanitation, with our tow truck partners to be able to try to remove those vehicles off the street. So year to date, we move 147 cars off the road. And these are parking spaces that are being cleared up for residents like yourself and your families to be able to park their vehicles. And that's not even counting some of the one-offs, we call them, where I would get a text message from someone and we would try to move on that immediately and as fast as we can. The summer's coming up. It's upon us. We do have a very robust summer plan. You're going to see some increased presence along Church Avenue from the 30s all the way up to the 90s on Church. You're going to see that 7 days a week. Up in Sector Charlie, we call it the 90s up there. When you look at 9-5 in Rockaway, 9-6 in Clarkson, 9-3 in Winthrop, around those areas, we have increased patrol as well, where you're going to see police officers on foot patrolling the areas. And that's part of our summer plan to make sure that we curb, you know, some of the violence, obviously, and we curb any, we want the community to feel safe in that aspect. So as you go about those corridors, you will see an increased presence there. And that's go hand in hand with our 311 plan to make sure that we respond properly and on time to your 311 complaints. You know, we've seen in the past where sometimes a 311 complaint would be made if left unchecked. Sometimes it could lead to violence. So that there's a correlation there that we want to make sure that we address. Lastly, is our youth officers working very, very hard to make sure that we keep our youth engaged this summer, and that's with obviously the youth employment program that the city have, helping those youths. The precinct get an amount of young people coming to the precinct and working for the summer. So we are one of the sites that accept young people for the summer. So our youth officers, they do a tremendous job, starting with school dismissals that they do every single day during the school hours. And then obviously going into the summer, we want to keep the youth very, very engaged. Lastly, I just want to invite you to our community council meeting tomorrow night, right, at 7 o'clock. It's at the precinct, the 6-7 precinct, 2820 Snyder Avenue. Please come. It's really one of the good meetings that you come just to learn about the precinct and be engaged as community members. So with that, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'm here. If you have any questions, I'll be here obviously to answer anything.
All right, thank you. This question right there.
A lot of what, I'm sorry?
Dogs.
Dogs?
Dogs issue. Owners walk their dog. I'm tired of stepping in, you know what? It's really becoming unbearable for the residents. It's a quality of life issue. I'm not sure what I can do. I'm out of resources. We try talking to them. We put up signs and things like that. It's not helping. I feel like I may have an altercation with somebody because of what they're doing. They're walking on your property. They have no respect for the neighborhood. It's just out of control. Is there a way, I know there's laws regarding fines, etc. Do you enforce any of those? Can we take pictures of these culprits? And I don't know what I can do now. I need your help. I really do. And I'm sure a lot of people have the same problem, right? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to take a look at. One, if you know where the dogs are, call ASPCA, because obviously that's I don't think it's safe for the dogs to not being cared of properly like that.
The owners are allowing their dogs to poop. So in other words, not curbing the dog.
Not okay, not walking with them on leashes and okay. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, no, obviously that the difficulty comes in is where we have to personally witness those type of actions. If we're getting calls afterwards, the police officer shows up, and you're saying, hey, the person lives there, letting their dog, lay waste in the street, it's gonna be very difficult for us to enforce that. So we have to catch that in live action. So we'll talk afterwards. We'll get a little bit more of the location that you're talking about. Maybe we can increase some of the patrol there. And if those dogs are out and they're not being cared for, like I said, we could maybe take some actions with that. But that sounds like sanitation issue as well. Any other questions?
All right, so if you have any other
Mr.
questions.
Chair, I have a
Detective
question.
Skinner, raise your hand, so everybody know you're just standing there like, a model. So everybody see Detective Skinner, if you see a question, he's gonna answer it right in the back and speak to you. I see you have there's one person online already for you, Detective Skinner. Ms. Martinez, she has a question for you. So we'll deal with that in the back. If you have any other questions, just please see Detective in the back. Thank you, Inspector.
I'll be in the
Saliba.
back as well. Yep, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Brooklyn Public Library, I think I saw Tara Evans. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the clock up there. I hate to be like the Sandman back in, what's the Apollo? Is that what it was? Here comes Mr. Sandman. Oh, he's also on your screen at the podium, I'm told.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Hello, CB 17, Chair, Board, Committee members. My name is Taina Evans. Haven't been here in a while, but good to see everybody and those in person. I come to talk to you about a couple of things. First and foremost, I'm from Brooklyn Public Library. Brooklyn Public Library, as you know, have 3 branches in CB 17, Rugby, East Flatbush, and Clarendon. But 10 branches are coming together on June 3rd at Tilden Playground between 10 to 3 to talk, to actually have sneaker event, story time, and really celebrate the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So I would like to see everyone there because it's, I guess, a 10 library effort and it's really going to be engaging. We're going to have a DJ, we're going to have a sneaker program, we're going to have a poetry jam. But I also want to turn it over to my colleagues from the respective locations, the Rugby location and the East Flatbush location, to tell you some big and exciting news, particularly with East Flatbush. We have a date. So I'll turn it over to Heidi.
Hi, I'm Heidi. I'm the young adult librarian at Rugby. I just wanted to draw some attention to some of the events we have coming up. June 5th, we're having Brainy Bill do a live science demonstration. It's geared towards children, and that's on Monday, June 5th at 4 p.m. We've recently started a gardening club that meets every Tuesday from 3 to 4. And this event I'm really excited about. This Friday, we're doing a tie-dye event from 4 to 5. And that will lead into our teen takeover. We close the library from 6 to 8, and we'll have pizza, games, wings, burgers. So it's, just something fun for like teens and tweens to do at the library. No adults allowed, but there will be plenty of officers and other staff there. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll see some of you there. Thanks.
Thank you, Heidi. And I'm going to introduce the branch manager of the East Flatbush branch.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you today. My name is John Huth. I'm the branch manager at the East Flatbush Library. We are opening on June 6th. If you could let all the families know, all the kids know, we're starting programs immediately. So there are some flyers in the back. We'll be doing our regular story time, arts and craft, and teen time. Please tell the young people to come on in. And everybody, if you could come on in June 6th at 1 o'clock, we are open. Thank you.
And we extend the invitation for the 11 o'clock on June 6th for the board to come to the ribbon cutting. And then for the general public, we're opening at 1 p.m. So we're gonna, as John mentioned, have a lot to celebrate. So if you haven't received the invitation, let us know, Chair. Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I know Chair Prasad is going to yell at me. Wait, Mr. McDonald? Mr. McDonald? Tyrone?
Good day, everyone. Hope you're doing.
A little louder, Mr. McDonald.
I'm sorry. Could you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Good day, everyone. I'm Tyrone McDonald from Neighborhood Housing Services of Brooklyn. It's wonderful seeing you today. Just a few announcements that Neighborhood Housing Services is working on. On June the 10th, at Lenox Road Baptist Church, which is at 1356 Nostrand Avenue on the corner of Nostrand and Lenox Road, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we are excited to bring back our Housing Resource Fair. The Housing Resource Fair is going to have a number of exhibitors and also a number of workshops tailored towards tenants, first-time home buying workshops. We're going to have workshops for homeowners. So just mark that on your calendar. I will share, well, I'm virtual, so in the chat, I will put the link, but also I will share the flyer with CB17. This Thursday, May the 18th, actually tomorrow, May the 18th, Neighborhood Housing Services along with Access Justice is having a homeowners event where we discuss foreclosure issues, how to address fines if you get, as a homeowner, if you get a fine, and also other issues as well. So that's going to be on, that's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I will share the information with CB17 so it can get it out to you all. And also I will put in the chat for those in virtual land. All right. For any information on our upcoming events, feel free to visit our website at nhsbrooklyn.org. We're here to service you if you have any issues, concerning mortgage issues, tenant issues, or, if you just need some guidance. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I said I was going to get yelled at by Chair Prasad, but I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to take point of personal privilege, just calling two people real fast. We have not heard from their office in a while because of late. We have gone so late, so I'm asking permission to have these two people speak. Only these two people speak out of order. All right, that is from Councilmember Lewis's office, Dan, and from the Bar President's office, Ms. Bianca Stevenson. So I'm just asking, can I just get a show of hands to adjust the agenda just for this month? Right, and to keep it on the 3 minutes, right? Thank you. Show of hands, thank you. Dan, and then Ms. Stevenson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Heredia. I'm from the office of Councilmember Farah Lewis's office of the 45th Council District in New York. Thank you, Mr. Daly, for giving me the opportunity to speak a little bit earlier because I have a few more updates I want to share, both good and some not so good, which I know you don't hear from a lot of electeds, but we need to share them. So firstly, this week, Councilmember Lewis attended the groundbreaking for the second affordable housing project in the district on 40th Street. That's going to be, that was presented on the last prior board meeting. So it was really great to see the developers come out, really provide a number of affordable housing units for seniors, which is something we often feel is left out of the housing conversation. We are also, we got notification from DDC earlier today about a potential groundbreaking for the Shirley Chisholm Community Center taking place. We're looking at a groundbreaking time of July, so we're excited for that to come into fruition, and we'll definitely be sharing an invite with the board and all of the members of the community. So we are really excited for that. In terms of recreation, we are doing a partnership with parks like we did in years prior. We're doing 3 movies in the park this summer, some at Tilden, some at Amersfoort, some at Padgett, and we want to encompass the entire community in this. So please contact our office for more information about the movies and what we're going to be doing in the parks, as well as a family day in Amersfoort coming up soon. So we'll be in touch about that. If anyone is in need in legal services, we know there's been a lot of influx of calls to our office about help with immigration and helping their family members with immigration. Please feel free to call our office at any time during the day because we have immigration lawyers, both through NILAG and through CUNY Citizenship Now, who can assist you and your families with these things. One last point of good news is that we partnered with Deputy Mayor of Operations Joe Shi on neighborhood cleanup effort as well. We know that there's been a lot of community concerns about the graffiti and trash being dumped at some of the train tracks where we pass over places like Albany Avenue, Brooklyn Avenue. We have a lot of issues with people dumping them and having no recourse for what do we do about that. Also, thanks to the community, through participatory budgeting, we were able to fund over $100,000 for NYPD security cameras at some of these locations, which we hope will address some of the illegal dumping and car abandonment concerns at these spots. I have 25 seconds. Here's the bad news. So we had signed onto a letter and drafted a letter to DOT in regards to bike share, about city bikes being installed around the district. We got the feedback from DOT saying that they're not willing to make a number of the changes that we had wanted to make with the board. So we will be fighting the effort and really working with the board to ensure that we're not putting city bike locations that's going to be detrimental, harmful to the homeowners and the people who live there. It's going to, in some of the locations, we've noticed that's going to cause issues from school, pickup and drop off times. It's going to cause issues for groceries. There's a number of problems with the proposals that they presented. So we're going to be diligently fighting to make sure that we have the community's voices heard. Another major point that I know is the top of a concern for the community is the flooding. A couple weekends ago, I know you remember that rainstorm, we received over 20 complaints on a small stretch of properties in our district. And we know there are way more people who are having and experiencing flooding in the community than are calling our office. So we're partnering with DEP to give away flood barriers. So if anyone who needs flood barriers to put along your garage, your doors, to make sure that when there's times of great flooding, we're giving over 200 away from them for free. The package literally came in last week. Call our office, set up an appointment. We want to get rid of these. We want to get them out to the community as much as possible to prevent your garages, your basements, your front doors from flooding during times of great water. If you see clogged sewer drains, please call 311. And if they aren't doing it, call the board, call our office, give us that 311 number so we can follow up and making sure that everyone's doing their job. On behalf of Councilmember Farah Lewis, I wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you. That's the problem. We're trying to fight them. They want to have it 30 to the sport.
So I want to add something, and I don't want to open up that discussion, but I need emails. I'm asking everyone, do me a favor, because that has come up, and I need to send an email back to DOT, right, as to why we don't want it. They said, don't use parking as an excuse, which is a real issue, right? And you're here to go back to the bar president as well to let him know that in Community Board 17, it's a problem. So please do send me an email. I want those emails to limit, not that we don't want, but limit the amount of, right? CB17 chairperson, that's for everybody. That's my email. CB17 chairperson at gmail.com. That goes to all issues, by the way. But CB17 chairperson, Ms. Stevenson. Right, I'll place them on the sidewalk, and then put them on the street, put them on the sidewalk.
Good night, everyone. My name is Bianca Stevenson. The community coordinator for Brooklyn Borough President Reynoso. Very excited to be here today. I kept looking back because I feel like I know so many of you because I had the pleasure of chatting with you during your process, the new board members, in becoming new board members. So I hope that you all are all ready to just roll up your sleeves. I would have said to you when we chatted that a lot of the work of the board doesn't happen tonight. It happens on committee. And Borough Hall does require you to be on at least one committee. So please, some of you said you were interested in parks and education and this and that. Please find your little home within your home as soon as possible and put all your wonderful talents and gifts that I had a chance to experience when we chatted to work. I also want to say one other thing regarding Borough Hall and this process. For the purposes of Borough Hall, to be present, you have to be present in person. So, you know, attendance is something that the borough president is looking at in terms of reappointments. So if you're online, even if you called and to say, hey, I can't make it, you're absent. So I just wanted, you know, to make sure everybody understands that from the perspective of the borough president, that's what present and absent means in person. So I'm going to keep it really brief. I just wanted to to share with you today that the borough president had a press conference at Borough Hall today, and it was on the migrant crisis. It was actually very heated, you know, a lot of, you know, rightly concerned about, you know, how people are being housed and what's next. So he did, he called on the governor, the mayor, and the president, and he came with at least 3 solutions in terms of housing, you know, finding housing that he wanted the mayor to declare a state of emergency so that the people who are currently in shelters, who have been some of them for over 800 days, to be moved into private housing and then to free up the shelter system for people, you know, the displaced people. So that happened at Borough Hall today. So that's my report this month. And again, welcome. And I know you guys are going to fit right in. Thank you very much.
You have a question from Chair Prasad? Come forward. Can I get one member to please control the mic, please?
Chair Prasad. in the past, the previous bar presidents had programs where they offer money for tree guards. And the city has recently planted several trees, you know, in our community. If there's no existing program, can you share with the bar president if he would be having one in the, you know, future?
Okay, I can do that, and I know, Chair, Daley, he had asked for you all for some things that he can help you advance, and I think that would be a good one to put on his agenda. Yeah, okay?
All right. Any other questions? Perfect. All right, let's move on to the next step of the agenda. I believe that's roll call. No, community session. This is a community session where anybody from the community, you have up to 3 minutes to bring whatever you want to bring to the board. So please do line up so we know to come up.
Does that include those online?
No, wait, I'm sorry, not online, not as yet. We're doing in person first, and then I will go to online. In person and then online. Oh, you could, yeah. Allison, Ms. Martinez, come forward because you have a present. You have another agency. What agency? That's not, that's legislative. Yeah, yes, just community.
Sanitation.
I didn't know, yes. Again, if you have community, not community board, but general community. Go ahead.
Right.
Please make sure you state your name for the record before you speak.
Okay. Allison Martinez, co-founder of Brooklyn Level Up, and also committee member of Land Use. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for giving us this time. Brooklyn Level Up is a community development corporation. We focus a lot on supporting small businesses that are BIPOC owned in East Flatbush, and Flatlands through our entrepreneurship collective. And we also work on building a community land trust through Brooklyn Level Up as well for affordable housing, commercial and community space. Through that side of our work, we are partnering with the New York City Civic Engagement Commission to be the East Flatbush partner on the first citywide participatory budgeting project called the People's Money. You may have seen our stand outside. We are actually anyone who is age 11 or over, whether you are justice involved, no matter your immigration status, as long as you live in New York City, you can vote for borough-wide projects across the city, depending on where your zip code is. You can also, four of which on a 10 project ballot will win $250,000 from the city. And if you live, in our case, in East Flatbush, zip codes 11203 or 11226, there's an additional $50,000 project that would be on the ballot that you could vote for. We really want to encourage people to come outside, especially if you are in the equity neighborhood of East Flatbush. But there are 33 equity neighborhoods across the city that people can vote for projects of their choosing. For us, we have a project on basically on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. We have a project on intergenerational work between seniors and youth to help them learn how to use ChatGPT and also how to use basically their smartphones if you're a senior. We have a mindset and nutrition shift program, a retiring youth mentorship program, and a program called When We Own, We Stay, which is about community real estate and investment. So I really hope you'll take the opportunity to vote, come outside. If you're not in those zip codes that I mentioned, we still encourage you to vote. We have a QR code that will make sure that you can digitally find exactly the neighborhoods that you're eligible to vote for. So thank you. And also, lastly, voting is one thing, but it's even more important for you to become volunteers to help us get the vote. We have an ambitious goal of trying to get like 4,000 residents in East Flatbush to vote, which is difficult. We don't vote normally in those numbers, but these are community projects that people who are from the community came up with. And we really want to just make sure that we are out there getting the programs that we deserve to have. So thank you.
Does everyone have the vote thing?
Yep. You can come outside. You can also get any of these cards. We're going to drop it in the chat, the link where you can vote online as well. Oh, that's
Hi, how are you? I'm Lulu Freistadt. I live on East 32nd Street and I'm here with T.S. Candy.
Hello, everyone. I'm T.S. Candy.
And we were on the subcommittee for sanitation. We were team leaders for the cleanup. And we just wanted to tell you how great it went and kind of give you a report back about how kind of some of the great stuff that happened. So we were able to get teams to clean up litter at, I think, 5 locations at Church and Nostrand. I know the sanitation chair already reported they had an awesome cleanup at East 25th and East 26th Street. We also had locations at Utica and Avenue D and Utica and Farragut. And then we had people even call and say, we want to do a cleanup also. And we added one at the last minute on East 32nd Street between Beverly and Tilden. And we cleaned up like whole sections with like about anywhere from 4 to 8 bags of garbage per location. We made these really great posters and we just want to let you know, we want to say thank you, especially to the team leaders and the people who came out, like George Tate and Joan Bacardin and Ken Westcott and Milo Blair and Natasha and Lisa Derrick from Assemblywoman Rodney Bichot's office came and personally cleaned up litter for 2 hours. She was amazing. So we just want to get the word out. We want to try to do it every month, but not this coming month in May because it's the holiday because of, Memorial Day. But we think by June, we could start again the 4th Saturday of the month from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we want to especially have the anchor locations at Church and Nostrand and the Junction, and then add on any communities that, want to do it. And I think the thing that's cool is that as people see you cleaning up more, they feel more inclined to jump in and clean up more too. And you find people who kind of have this in their heart that come out. So we just wanted to say that it was successful. We're going to have more photos online. And you want to add anything, Tess? Tess was so great. She personally went and picked up the tools from sanitation and dropped them off to each location. She did so much work. So we want to say thank you, and we hope that you'll get excited and get involved. You can email us at letflatbushshine@gmail.com, letflatbushshine@gmail.com, if you're excited about making the neighborhood more beautiful. And here's our beautiful poster, and we have another really cool poster on the way also. Thanks so much.
Level Up will be sponsoring free in an IT supporting Black businesses who are in that industry at the Brooklyn Public Library. Okay. The reason to come out and have your kids. Thanks. Oh, that's June 3rd from 11 to 3. That's the park event that the Brooklyn Public Library talked about, the hip hop event in the park. We'll be providing ice cream to make sure that people come out and vote for PB.
Will there be grape nut and rum and raisin?
Actually, that can be arranged, yes, because we're working with them.
I'm not coming. No grape nut, no rum and raisin, not coming.
We're also
Alright.
doing the same at Erasmus, so.
Thank you. Any other community session? Is that a hand or, I see one like this. Go ahead with your question. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is David Hallen. I live on Clark.
Sorry, a little bit slower.
My name is David Hallen.
W?
David.
As in Ireland, Dublin? How do you spell it? I'm sorry, because you need it for the record.
You got it.
D-O-V-I-D?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, David Allen?
You can say it 2 ways, David with an O or COVID with a D.
Okay. Okay. We'll go with David with the O.
So I live on Clarkson and East 45th Street. That's on the border of this community board. And across the street, I see Community Board 9, the turf. But I have a family with kids, and we're not close to any park at all. There's a public school, Clarkson East 40th, East 39th, East 40th, that has a very large playground that's basically open to the street, but they gated it in with a chain link fence, and there's no access. All of my neighbors, anyone I know, they have to go all the way to Clarkson and New York Avenue. That's the closest place. I don't know if this is the place to speak about it, but we've been discussing it for years. How, maybe after school's over, whatever it is, 3 o'clock, open it for the community to use until dusk. That's a very reasonable request.
All right, so if you do me a favor, again, go back to my email that I mentioned earlier, the CB17 chairperson. We could maybe talk to the principal. I know that back in the past, Mayor Bloomberg had done playground to park, right? I'm not sure if that was part of it back in the days and if that had continued, but I don't know what the conversation would be like with the principal of the school. So shoot me an email and see if we can facilitate a conversation around that. But I don't know the answer, right? But I could only start with a question, correct? Just like you did.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Any other community? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for hosting me in Community Board 17. My name is Aaron Roth, AAronRoth.
Oh, you're a board member, right?
Yes.
You can't, not now.
Oh.
You're a new board member, so.
When would be a good time?
It's on your agenda. It says special report board members.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Roth. Who is I am? I heard I am.
Good evening. This is my third appearance.
You're what?
My third appearance at this meeting.
Yes.
And I'm talking about Kingsborough development.
Yes.
Now, I would like to point out that there are 6 schools, elementary, junior high school, and high school, in 1 mile within the vicinity of this location. That will create a problem for our children going back and forth to school. We talk about homeless people there. It's already saturated. Can you do, I know you say you're board 17 and you can't do anything because this is board 9, but can you do anything to reduce the amount of homeless people that will be there? I'll tell you what happened to me last week. Last week, I'm walking in my block, okay? I packed, I'm packing my groceries. 2 men, I never seen them in my life, okay? I looked up, they looked me straight in the eye and said, can I help you? That's not what they wanted to do, okay? So I'm just telling you the problems we're having right now in our community with the homeless. And you're gonna put more, timing, and you're gonna put more in there, that would be a shame for our community. So I'm asking you to do the best. You said board 17 can't do anything about it. I don't know how many people from that present here live between Claxon and let's say Church Avenue. And that will be the community that will be greatly offended by the impact of this development at Kingsborough. Thank you.
So I'm gonna throw the conversation back. I know I've been trying to reach out to Assemblymember Cunningham office, so I'm putting it out there that to address some of the concerns about the shelter. Although there might be several schools that are within a mile radius, specifically one, PS 235, which is the same school that Mr. Dovid, right, spoke about, would be directly impacted. So I do know that conversation as well. So I'm actually trying to schedule a meeting. So if the member of Assemblymember Cunningham's office is online, please note out loud. Oh, so right here. So, all right, so I'm trying to schedule a meeting with the office to discuss that. All right. Now he doesn't need to talk. I'm just letting him know so he can shoot me an email. Okay.
I'm sorry, did the virtual go yet?
Online. Are there any questions online?
Yes, I was
real
wondering,
fast.
was it from elected officials reps? Were they able to go as of yet from the virtual
I'm
space?
sorry, I can't hear you.
From the virtual space, were the representatives of the elected officials able to go as of yet?
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. We're trying to move along. We're doing very nicely, so let's try to keep it up. Roll call. Any other community session? No. See none?
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes. Can I say something?
Who's that? Who's I?
I'm online. Am I able to speak? I asked
You
to
have
speak.
3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Am I recognized? Okay.
Yes, you are.
Great, thank you very much. My name is Jay Sorid. I am a former member of the Brooklyn Community Board 17 Housing Committee and Land Use Committee. With regard to all of these different Vital Brooklyn projects, I created a website. The website is called eastflatbush.info. So anybody on your cell phone out there, you can go to www.eastflatbush.info to basically find out a lot of information. I tried my best to put everything together. I didn't say anything about anybody. I just have information in it for the public. So www.eastflatbush.info has a tremendous amount of info on all of the different projects that are happening with Vital Brooklyn. I wanted to mention also that there was a discussion about what can the community board do. Community Board 17 and Community Board 9, the only thing that they really are is they can give advisory opinions. There's never any veto. Whether it's a ULURP action, there's never a veto. It's just an advisory opinion that you can give. So what happens is there's nothing stopping Community Board 9 and 17 from getting involved and giving their opinion on this project. 25 years ago, that's exactly what Community Board 17 did. 25 years ago, there was an opinion of the community board that said, we don't want 681 Clarkson to expand because of all the problems and the homeless and the danger and everything. And there are some people in the audience, I believe, who have flyers in which I made a copy of the CB17 chair back 25 years ago in 1998 when this came up. And he said, we're against this. I also know that people protested. The specific provision is it's New York City Charter. There's an aspect of it, 197-CM. That's 197-CM. So if a community board is affected by it, you can give an opinion and get involved in it. There is no truth to the idea that if the land is one place, you can't speak up and say something. You guys have it wrong. Have the community board, have the public advocate come in. 197-M-C. They can come in. So any community board can say something. You could ask for a residential beds analysis from the from city planning, and they could tell you how bad it is with the homeless situation. There's lots of things you could do. You could take a look at the segregation. Have the city agencies do work for you through the district manager who makes the request. Also, you can't have secret bylaws committees that you did last month. You have to go into executive session, which you didn't do. The bylaws committee that you had in secret was not valid. Take a look at your bylaws. You have to do it in person and do it and ask for to go into executive session. It never went into executive session. Last month's bylaws meeting, completely illegal.
Okay. I didn't hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a question.
Portia, I see your hand, but I know that you represent an elected official. Unless you're asking a question, are you asking a question as a community resident?
Yes, if you will
Go
let me
ahead.
explain myself. Is there a way that you can reconsider as a community member and also a member of an office where the elected speak? Usually
I'm sorry, you're not.
Let me finish my
Portia,
statement.
1 second, 1 second. You're not coming in clearly, so we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll shout louder. Okay, the question is there a possibility to revisit where the elected officials speak in the meeting? The reason I'm asking this is because usually we don't speak until we're like the last people to speak, and there's nobody listening to what we have to say, and we have really important things to say to the community. And so it's very disheartening when we have to go last and there's no one in the room, because normally the board doesn't end until 10 o'clock at night, and there's no one online listening. That is my question. If that can be done, that would be great. If not, it will continue to be sad that no one's getting the information that we're trying to get out to the community.
Thank you. We have had that discussion, and one of the things that we're working on is to speed up so that people are here when they give the report. I think everybody will feel the same way on all angles, but we're working on the time so that everyone can get their report in. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, moving on. The session is closed. We have roll call. Mr. First Vice Chair.
So only to board members, just respond present if you're here. Kwame Afrey, excused. Alfonso Brandon, absent. Tiffany Anderson, present. Rolat Antoine, Mr. Hassan Bakardine, Barrington Barrett, absent. Celia Bellin, absent. Teresa Berriton, present. Luis Brown, absent. Asher Cunningham, present. Roderick Daly, Herminia Daniels, Kayla Dragan, Kayla, absent. Natasha Duncan, Natalie Ferguson, absent. Lena Fenderson,
Here, present. Lena Fenderson.
you're online?
I am.
And so we do not mark you present online, so you are absent today. Pearline Fields? Absent. Allison French Kenton, excuse. Dr. Charles Galbraith? Ms. Rose Graham is excused. Ms. Gail Grandison? David Halen? Thank you. Michael Hill? Rhonda Joseph? Absent.
I'm here. Did I hear you say online is absent?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, thank you.
You're welcome. Emerson Lazari? Absent. Osney Lewis? Thank you. Trisha Lewison? Thank you.
If you're new, right, I'm sorry, unfortunately, if you're new, we don't recognize right away the ask them, where are you? So if you're new, I know. So we did that earlier.
So as I call you new members, please stand once I get to you. Brandon Mathurin, absent. Edith Mark, absent. Present. Thank you. Daniel McCabe. Thank you. Austin Najla. Thank you. Kandijat Oluwo. I'm sorry about the names. Absent. Montserrat Oni. Thank you. Rodney's Pepper Souvenir. Absent. June Prasad. Miss Janice Reed. Dr. Carol Renault. Aaron Roth. Thank you. Menachem Shanowitz. Thank you. I'm sorry about the names. Miss Antoinette Smart. Kamara Swaby. Thank you. Simone Sylvester. Thank you. George Tate. Thank you. Ms. Tamara Thomas is excused. Hezeliat to, wow. Thank you. Say that for me, please. Thank you, Heslot. Thank you. Marguerite Vigilante, absent. Ms. Jessica Welch. Thank you. Mr. Kenrick Westcott. Thank you. And Ivor Wood. Thank you.
Mr. Ivor, I would like to tell you that you have now taken over Mr. Kenrick Westcott's spot that he has earned for a number of years to be the last name called. All right, welcome again. If you weren't here earlier, when we introduced you, welcome again to the board for all the new members. And David, you got away, right? I didn't know you were a new member. All right, so you got away and Aaron didn't. All right, moving on. There was a March minutes, though it was 47 pages that was sent out. And I will admittedly say I did not read all 47. I'm pretty sure there's no one in this room who read all 47. However, it was sent out and it must be approved. So, who did not receive the minutes? It might be just only new board members might not have. So you're gonna make sure that you get it, but everyone else has, so we can move forward with approving those minutes. All in favor of approving the March 2023 minutes? Wait, I'm sorry, are there any corrections to the minutes? Those parts of it that you read and remembered from March. All right, so yes, Mr. Tate. Yes, we do. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes? Yes. Can I get a second? You can't use, the recording cannot do voice, Dr. Renaud. I cannot do hands, so you gotta say it louder. Thank you. Somebody beat you to the gun. All in favor of accepting the March 2023 minutes, please do so by saying aye. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstention? It carries. All right. Yes. Yes, I didn't see February minutes. I didn't see it. There was a sent out, district manager? February minutes. Actually, I didn't see it. So if it can be resent, so we do it for next month. I didn't see it. All right, thank you. Where are we? So there are a couple of things. It says for public hearing, the bylaws committee chair does have a hearing piece. And so first we bring a commerce chair. Yeah, I know, she did it backwards. Commerce chair, please come up. Where is she? Oh,
I'm here.
sorry.
Can all liquor license applicants please step forward? They should be three who attended the Commerce meeting last night. Please step forward. Mr. Griffith, right? Yeah. So I'll go according to the agenda. Mr. Griffith, 519 Utica Avenue Wine LLC, located at 519 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11203. So this application is a liquor license renewal. It is not required for liquor stores to come before the board. However, Mr. Griffith chose to submit the 30-day notice to the community board and came to the Commerce meeting, so we did the courtesy of processing the application. It's just a renewal. The police report has no incident, and the committee voted to approve his renewal. I will do all three and then ask for the voting. Are there any questions for Mr. Griffith? It's a liquor store located on Utica Avenue. It's called 519, and he's been in business for 3 years. Go ahead, ma'am. He just stated that. You're welcome. Seeing no other hand, we'll move on to the next applicant. Culture Place LLC, am I pronouncing it correctly, sir? Culture Palace, sorry. 3605 Church Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11203. This is a new application. He's also applying for a temporary permit. It's a full liquor license. The establishment is a catering facility. We'll have DJ music, recording music, karaoke, live entertainment. It's a one-floor location. The police report states 5/28/22 to 6/3/22. There were 2 311 calls, loud music. The status is closed. However, a police report is good for 1 year. And if it's a new application, it does not apply to the applicant, but I must read it because it's presented to me. The committee voted not to approve this application, and I'll explain why. What's your name again, sir? Mr. Marcus. So Mr. Marcus was asked if he had soundproofing in the location. He was honest enough to say, no, I don't have soundproofing yet. However, it's a costly thing, and I do plan on having it in the future. However, that probably was not enough for some of the committee members, so the majority voted against his application. But again, the general board vote is the final decision. So I'll now open the floor up for any questions from the floor for Mr. Marcus. Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Marcus, when do you foresee getting the soundproof done? He said 6 to 12 months. It's a long time.
It is.
How much was it, sir? How much?
Yeah.
24,000.
Yes.
How many people does your establishment hold?
I didn't get a certificate. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't get the certificate
Of
of
occupancy.
occupancy. So I kind of went off my head. I was saying 400 to 500 people standing up. That's what I was thinking. I didn't get a.
I'm sorry, where's this location?
Are you familiar with Little Ochi on Church Avenue? Used to be Little Ochi. Little Ocheria's,
Oh, is that the one
between
by
Albany.
Brooklyn Avenue?
Yeah, I think Brooklyn.
And you don't have some?
Right, yeah. One at a time, just a minute.
I have another business in the community too. I own Culture Nonstop. It's right there in church between 48 and Schenectady. I promote nothing but cultural stuff.
Speak to the mic.
Arts and craft, T-shirts. I do a lot of seminars. Well, this is like I've been there not almost a year, but I've been in the business about 10 years now. I'm moving from church in 95th to the church between 48 and Schenectady. So I own that store right there. Right next to the hill, 47th.
3605. Oh,
Yes. Yes. Yes, I own that store there. So I sell a lot of posters, T-shirts, pig tins.
We understand that, but,
Yeah.
okay, that's not,
No, no, I understand.
that's
So
not,
this is where I'm
we
coming
understand.
from, you know?
So we have a lot of questions. Let's take the
All right.
questions. Miss in the back first, the young lady, I don't know her name again.
Hello.
Well, 1 second. I'm sorry?
No.
No, we have to do it after each application.
No.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
No, she meant all the questions that he answers all of them. No, okay.
What? Oh, okay. Miss in the back, you had your hands up first? I think it's 30. Sir, what's your look between 30, Brooklyn and okay, 37th and Brooklyn. Then I think Mr. Westcott, you had a question, then Miss James.
Scott.
Okay.
Yes, the question is, with 500 people, how much security would you have to control that many people?
So the required,
All right. Hello. I'm running off the top of my head. This is just a guess. 6 to 10 to have everything running, right?
so the required amount,
I didn't really open up as yet, but I'm just giving you an estimate.
so let me educate you a little bit. It's 71 security per 75 people, just so you have an idea, sir. All right? Ms. James had her hand up and then go ahead, Ms. James, and then
What businesses are actually next to you that would be immediately impacted by, that the soundproofing? Okay, now, because I'm trying to look at it. It's a one flat, so there are no tenants above, and next to you are two commercial spaces. Your hours of operation are gonna be what? Expected, but starting from what time approximately?
Some people have different events, some people have events in the morning, some people have events in the evening. Ain't no events in the afternoon.
Okay, so you're basically saying that the commercial space is next to you, and is it fair to say you'll be operating mostly in the evening? Is that a correct statement?
it's supposed to be a catering facility, so.
So it could be any, okay, fine. Thank you.
There's another hand, Ms. Fraser. Oh, sorry, Mr. Asher, 1 minute.
I heard that, the cost, and I would suggest you contact the office tomorrow. I will get you in touch with the Department of Small Business Services, who assists homeowners with small loans and any kind of guidance that they may need. So if you call the office tomorrow, I'll put you in touch with the liaison from the Department of Small Business Services, who may be able to have a conversation with you regarding funding, if it's possible. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. Asher, you have the floor. Thank you, Ms. Fraser.
And I just want to follow up to Ms. James' question regarding, I guess, the residents that are in the area. So you answered that there are two businesses next to, well, in between your location. But speak to the residents that may be around, and would the sound that could particularly come out of the establishment affect them?
I had to talk with one of the, especially in back of me, I had to talk with the guy in back of me, that's, because it's houses in back of the building. I had to talk with them. He said as long as I keep everything under control, it will be no problem. The sun wasn't really bothering him. But they have a new building that's building up across the street, so I didn't really get to, talk to anybody else about that. Yeah. And I'm aware of, I guess, what used to happen in the past with this location, but this is under new management. It's a new owner to the building. So I'm just asking if y'all could just give me that chance. But the reason why from what I'm hearing, a lot of police used to run in there because I guess the people never had the right paperwork. So I'm trying to go through the proper procedure to get the right paperwork. That's all.
Okay, are there any other questions? Hearing none, we will proceed to the next applicant and then we'll vote afterwards. Team, how did I pronounce that? Utica, oh, sorry, can't even see, sorry, my apologies. Team Utica LLC, 1344 Utica Avenue. This is a new application with applying for a temporary permit. It's a full liquor license. It's a restaurant with a full kitchen. They will have DJ, recorded music, karaoke, live entertainment, security personnel. The police report reads as follows: 5/10/22 to 5/10/23, there were 12 911 calls. The status is closed. Like I said before with the previous application, the police report does not apply to the new applicant. However, I do have to read it. I will now open the floor for any questions on this application. Oh, the committee did vote to approve this applicant. Seeing no questions or hearing none, Mr. Chair, can we vote?
Yes,
Oh, when you vote, board members, for new board members, you will be voting. If you vote yes for all three applications, it will be yes, all three. If you vote no for all three, it will be no, all three. If you abstain, it would be abstention, all three.
Madam Chair, just point of order. I'm sorry, his establishment has to be pulled out because the committee did not vote in favor of it. So his has to be pulled out because the committee voted non-concurrence. Your two were voted yes at the committee level, so his has to be voted individually.
Isn't the general board decision the final decision? Right.
But it's based upon the committee's vote. So
No, that's
Hold on
incorrect.
one second, let me just explain. What the committee voted for, right? We're voting on the committee's vote on what they said. So if we agree with the committee, we're going to vote yes. If we don't agree with the committee, we're going to vote no. So his vote was a no at the committee level. So we're going to be voting on his separate if we agree with the committee vote. These two are yes. So therefore they can be voted together.
Mr. Chair, may I speak? It is my understanding that the committee vote is a recommendation to the general board, and the general board has a final say. Chairs, can you assist me in
No,
that?
I am agreeing with you.
Okay.
That's what I'm agreeing. What I'm saying is that we're voting on the recommendation of the committee. And the recommendation of the committee, and these two are yes. And the recommendation in the committee is no. So we're voting on yes here, if we would agree with the recommendation.
Okay, no, that's not how it's done, Mr. Chair. I beg to differ. No. It's always been the committee vote to recommend an applicant. If it's not, the committee does not vote, then it comes before the general board, and the general board's decision is final. That's my understanding of it. Okay. Okay, so we free to vote? Okay. So like I said before, and if you agree with 1, 2, and 3, so we're gonna do 1. Mr. Marcus, can you go in the center so people can see when they're voting? 1, 2, and 3. Can you go in the center? Can you switch, sir? Yeah, right. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you're voting for just 2, you say I'm voting for 1, 2, or 3. Exactly. Understood? No? There's 3 applications. If you're voting yes on all 3, it will be yes on all 3. If you're voting no on all 3, it will be no on all 3. If you abstain, it will be abstention on all 3 if you're abstaining all 3. Say that again? Yes, you can. I am about to do it by the numbers. So I said that would be 1, 2, and 3. So you would say I vote yes for 1, no for 2, yes for 3. Vice versa with the noes, same thing. Understood? Thank you very much. Mr. Asher, can you please do the roll call?
Well, the voting. Miss Tiffany Anderson? Okay. Mr. Barrington? He's absent. Miss Teresa Barrington?
You got to call the numbers, please.
Okay. Asher Cunningham votes yes to 1, no to 2, yes to 3. Mr. Roderick Daly?
Yes. 1. No. 2. Yes.
Okay. Ms. Herminia Daniels?
Can you speak up, please, so we can hear the vote?
Yes to 1, no to 2, yes to 3. Thank you. Ms. Natasha Duncan? Yes to all 3. Thank you. Dr. Galbraith?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Grandison?
Gail, Ms. Grandison?
Okay. Mr. Dovid?
Yes to all 3.
Thank you. Mr. Hill?
Yes to 1, 2.
Thank you. Ms. James? Thank you. Ms.
Liz Laurie.
Liz Laurie? Mr. Lewis? Thank you. Lewison, Ms. Lewison? Thank you. Ms. Mathurin? Mutherin? Mr. Mark? Ms. Mark? Yes to all 3. McCade? Thank you. Naj? Repeat that. Thank you. Oluwo? Here. Monserrat? Oni?
Yes to all 3.
Yes to all 3. Ms. Prasad?
Yes to all 3.
Ms. Reed? Thank you. Dr. Renaud? Thank you. Roth? Mr. Roth? Shenowitz? Thank you. Smart is here. Ms. Smart? Thank you. Swibby? Thank you. Sylvester? Thank you. Mr. Tate? Thank you. Ms. Thomas is person? Thank you. Mr. Welch? Yes. Thank you. Mr. Westcott? Say that again? Yes to all 3.
You have to say yes or no, Mr. Westcott. You said it? Sorry, I didn't hear you. My apologies.
Mr. Wood? Thank you.
So applicants, you can have a seat. He will tally the votes. And if it's approved, a letter of recommendation.
Sorry, Ms. Antoine didn't vote.
Excuse me. Yes to all 3.
Any other board member didn't hear the name to vote? Any other board member?
Yes, like I was saying, depending on the tally, a letter of recommendation will be sent to the State Liquor Authority. And I want to stress the word recommendation because the State Liquor Authority makes the final decision. So we can vote no sometimes and they can vote, and they will approve it or disapprove it. Okay? I thank you for your votes and your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, move bylaws.
Thank you very much. So the bylaws committee met, as I indicated previously, and there were several recommendations that we need to bring to the board. According to the bylaws, we must present, amendments must be first presented and then voted on the subsequent meeting. So I rise as the chair of the bylaws committee and also as a member of the board to present their proposals. Yeah, can you move on to the next slide? Okay, thank you. I want to bring it to your attention that under the open meetings law, the public has a right to attend meetings of the public body, but has a right to attend, listen, and watch the decision-making process, but not to speak. Next slide, please. Okay. The first is that we delete the section that says the chair may appoint to such committees persons with a residence or significant interest in the community who are not members of the board, but each committee shall have a member of the board as its chairperson. We recommend that that section of the bylaws be replaced, and instead it says all members are required to serve on at least 2 committees. Let me just stop here. In the prior years, the prior borough presidents required all members to be members of 2 committees. We have not operated with a full board for many years. And in addition to that, we had about 15 committees. So it was necessary to have board members serve on 2 committees. That may not be necessary anymore. And since the borough president has now indicated at least 1, the recommendation will be that we say at least 1 to be consistent with the borough president. So next month, when we vote on it, it will read at least 1 committee. Any questions? Hands up? Yes. Okay, the bylaws committee had voted on it previously. So I'm presenting to you what the bylaws had previously said. However, that's a recommendation to the general board. And we are saying that we would it would be perfectly acceptable to have a resolution or an amendment after discussion, right? We can change it. This is what we're doing now is discussing the recommendations. So the new recommendation will be to be consistent with the new borough president's requirement of at least 1 committee. No, we're going to vote. Somebody's going to rise and the resolution is going to say that at least on 1 committee. Okay, yes. Ultimately, a recommendation can be changed at a board meeting. So there will be the change to at least 1 committee. There was never that stipulation before in the bylaws.
I'm sorry, Mr. David. I can't hear you, but we can't hear you once. So can we get a mic? And remember, hold on, Mr. Let me go back. You have 2 options. You can rise to speak against. You can rise to amend, but you cannot rise to debate. Right?
I
So
did
if you
not
speak-
understand the proposal. I was asking for clarification. That's-
What was the clarification you're asking for? For which part of the proposal?
On the previous slide, we were going to remove one section and replace it with the following. We're going to delete the chairperson may appoint as committee person. We're going to delete this section, and then we're going to insert this next following one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Which states that all board members are required to serve on at least two committees. However, she has said that we are voting to remove this two committee requirement and replace it with one. But that's not, it's a discrepancy.
Is that what you, I don't think I think she said it was always there, but we didn't have the capacity to do that. But Madam Chair, I believe that it should be removed, Article 3, because it was not mentioned in Article 1 that you're doing any.
When just deleting that particular section and we're inserting what the actual
So
bylaws
you're now
would read like.
making that section into two parts, 3
Yes,
and
correct.
4.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Yes.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Dovid?
Yes, thank you.
We're not voting tonight, but per the bylaws, when there's substantial changes, which includes a change to the bylaws, it has to be presented and discussed and to the board prior to the vote.
Madam Chair, could I advise to amend?
Yes.
Okay, so in 4, that the chairperson may appoint to such committee as non-board members only persons who, 1, which is the first requirement, must be a New York City resident, 2, must live and maintain their primary work. However, I do think there should be 3 of significant interest because there are people who run community-based organizations who are part of different real significant interests within the community. However, I do agree that the first item, 1, must be a New York City resident, must be part of that conversation.
Okay,
But I do think 3.
That will have to be discussed,
just asking.
voted on, because the problem is a significant interest. Everybody has an own interpretation of significant interest. I can live, first of all, you must be a New York City resident, right? But everybody has a different idea of what significant is, and that's very vague. That's a problem. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
It has to be there as well.
Okay, I think, but at least as long we have we do have a caveat that it must be a New York City resident, so that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The person has to be a New York
That's
City
fine.
resident.
So, yeah, we can address, okay, that's good. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay. Okay. Prior to this, we had about 15 committees, and as you know, we had a problem with quorum. So I'm not going to call out all the names of the committees, but we have condensed the committees from, 12, I think, down to the next slide, please. Okay. Any discussion on the new committees? On their combinations, eliminations, and change of names? I recognize you.
Go ahead, Mr. Wood. Just speak really, really loud. So we wait for the mic. Go ahead. As loud as you can, Mr. Wood.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing. If I'm going to answer your question, I need to hear, please. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, during the meeting, the discussion, the one thing that I brought up was that it's a good idea to shrink the committees or combine them, but in doing so, you have the potential to take away from the integrity of the committees. Meaning, by shrinking them or combining them, you're going to have less time to discuss pertinent issues, as opposed to the committees by being to themselves, where you can really delve into the issues and come up with some great solutions to them.
That's a very broad statement. I don't think we've eliminated any particular avenue area of service. It's just that it's within a small community. So for example, public safety used to be a separate committee. The thought process is that we already have the inspector come to this meeting. We already have a precinct council meeting, which is held on the third Thursday afterwards. So then that can be combined also with transportation, rather than have members come out to another meeting where very often we don't have a quorum. So we're trying to make this, easier for members and encourage participation by not having members stretch themselves too thinly into too many committees. But we didn't eliminate any particular area of service. Everything is still captured in all the new committees here, on all the committees that are recommended. Any other questions? Yes.
I had a clarifying question. Here on the agenda, I see hospitality under committee reports, but I don't see it on either of these slides. Is that a committee or not?
Okay.
Am I missing it?
Yeah, the thought was that, Mr. Chair, I want to take your opinion on this one. Social services.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Very likely we'll appoint somebody within that committee to be responsible for hospitality because it's so broad, but yes. Mhm. Okay, included. Mhm.
So for Chair Lewis, no, sorry, not Chair, Treasurer Lewis. So for all the folks that feel as though this could be a problem, you could have subcommittees inside that report to a chair. If you have a special event, if you have different things, you could still be active. I don't want any of the board members or chairs to feel slighted, like if somebody took something from them. We are here to consolidate and make this thing effective. And the main thing is, all of us, for the most part, have our families and everything to go to. The less committees is easier to reach to a meeting. Our community board has too many committees, and we need to tighten that up. So everybody who is a part, who is a chair, if they happen not to see the committee there, you could look for subcommittees, or if you have an important event, bring it up so that we could consolidate this. That's all we're trying to do and make it effective.
I mean, just to show you, next year I'll not be a chair of any committee, and that's fine, right? So, okay, any other, yes, except for rezoning for a while. Yes, Mr. Mhm.
Yes, I understand the combining of the different committees. However, transportation and public safety, which I'm actually a member of both, I don't see how we could have the time to manage all the complaints, all the situations that come up in either one. If we combine the two committees, because a lot of time public safety may take a little longer because we have a lot of stuff to discuss in public safety, especially when it comes to fire. Because we cover the fire, we also cover the crime in the area and all that. And then transportation is always a big issue regarding the trucks, illegally parked cars and all that. So I do not see how we could combine both of them and cover everything in an hour and a half. That's my opinion.
So Chair, would you like to address that?
I think your committee can address that concern when you come back and take that into consideration.
No, I mean, we want to finalize, I mean, like, come to a consensus tonight as much as possible.
I'm sorry, say it again?
We want to come to a consensus as much as possible, so when we come back next week, next month, to just vote on something. So can I see by show of hands, or this isn't, how many of you think it should be combined versus not being combined? By show of hands? To combine transportation and public safety.
Which one? This, you have some vote.
Combine the transportation and public safety, those two committees. If you think yes, raise your hand, please. But everybody should be here tonight. It's a general board meeting. Okay, those who are not in favor of combining it, can you get a sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It appears to be split evenly. So we're just gonna have to vote on it at the next board meeting. Okay, and yes.
That Borough Hall, they spoke about how many IHOC committees, how many committees we have here at 17. But then Community Board 17 is one of the largest community boards, but their participation is just not there in the community level, not just the people that have the different committees. But didn't they at Borough Hall, I think at the beginning of the year, speak about merging these committees so there'll be less committees to have to utilize the time that's used by the community board, general board meetings? And aren't you using what they said to put together as a means of making less committees in Community Board 17?
That's the general, if I understand you correctly, that's the general idea to reduce the number. Think of it, we had 15 committees before. I have 4 community board meetings a month because I'm on 3 committees as well as the general board. So the whole intent is to make us effective by achieving quorum, which we've struggled to achieve over the past year, and not wear out members.
No, it was, no, not the only community board, but this community board is #1 with the most amount of committees. It is #1, right, of all 18. I just want to point out something in this conversation because I want to cut the conversation in another 2 minutes. Right? All committees did not give report tonight. Let's be clear. It's now 9:22 and I did my best to start on time, 7:05. So, and we still have a couple parts of the agenda. So one of the goal, and I know one thing that was not discussed, and I'm going to say it out loud. In my 20-year history, so I know everybody's looking, it's 9 o'clock, right? It's 9:22. In my 20-year history of being part of the board, the meeting has never finished in 2 hours. Never. Not even one time. I don't even know why they said 2 hours. It never has. So I'm trying to get it to at least, so at minimum, we get 2.5 hours. At minimum. But if we continue to have so many committees and so many reports, we're not going to get there. It's never going to be 2 hours. So if anybody who puts on your schedule till 9 o'clock, would strongly advise to take it off. It's never 2 hours, never. And anybody who's older than me in a committee can attest to that, please let me know. So now we're trying to move it to make it minimal. So that's what the committee is voting on. So I don't want to make sure people clear that up. It's 9:22, and I don't think anybody went ridiculously over time, and we still have a presentation and a couple of things, and you hear the legislative piece is complained at the top.
And
So think
people
about that
obviously-
when you making a conversation.
And then about 5 committees who didn't present tonight for 3 minutes, that's about 20 minutes would have been added too if we had all those committees present tonight, just something to think about. Okay, so this will be voted on. As it's been presented to you for your information, for your knowledge, as required by the bylaws, it will be voted on next month. You can either vote it up or down. Okay. Can we just move?
That's it?
Yeah, just one other thing, rezoning.
Okay.
Okay, rezoning. Okay. I would like to propose a resolve, that be it resolved that the board chair send letters to each city council member who represents Community District 17, soliciting funds to be used to undertake further community engagement and requisite consultation representation with the Department of City Planning in furtherance of Community District 7.
Point of order.
Yep. Mhm.
This is a motion that you're making at the zoning chair?
Yes.
Okay, this cannot be done during the bylaw session. So it
I
goes-
just do the next public hearing. I just went straight into it, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I just went straight into it from the next. I closed up the bylaws.
No, but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, it's out of order. So if you want to make this motion, you have to make it from the floor, just ask to be recognized. But if you cannot make it from there, because it's not in order. I just want to be clear.
Okay. I rise.
Um,
I rise from the floor. Here's the mic. There's the mic. Come to the floor, ma'am. Okay.
and it's not it's a motion, it's a motion.
Rise on the floor to make the motion that the board should send letters to each city council member who represents Community District 17, soliciting funds to be used to undertake further community engagement and requisite consultation and representation with the Department of City Planning in furtherance of Community District 17's rezoning efforts at a cost of $40,000.
I'm gonna say, okay. The motion has been made that's on the screen. Is there a second to the motion on the floor? You're seconding, are you raising, you got to speak. Thank you. The motion has duly been made and duly second. Is there a debate to the motion on the floor? We're just gonna remove the word resolution to make it motion. Is there, a debate? Seeing none. I'm just going to use show of hands. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Only board members, by the way. All opposed to the motion? None? All abstain? The vote carries unanimously. Thank you, Chair James. All right. I also would like to make I would like to amend the agenda again. No? No. You guys got to hear me first before you tell me no. No, I wanted to move the legislation. No? Wait. I'm just going to ask the men to move the legislation piece up and followed by the presentation. Right? No, it didn't go. All in favor of moving the legislation session up, please do so by raising your hand. Only board members, by the way. All right. All opposed to the chair's motion? Thank you. All right, legislators start with the votes while he's coming up. Utica Avenue, you still here? It carries 30-1. Culture Palace carries 21-9. And Team Utica carries 30-1. With one abstention for Culture Palace. You're welcome. Go ahead.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for staying here for so long. My name is Raul Rothblatt. I'm the District Office Director for Assemblymember Brian Cunningham. I'm very glad to be here. First of all, please, we welcome you to reach out to us at any time. My phone number, our office phone number is 718-771-3105, 718-771-3105. I usually get there around 8:15 in the morning, and we're usually there till 6 p.m. at night. We welcome you to use the space as your own. We have groups that come in and use it for free. We want to use it as a community hub, and we welcome you to use it. No fundraising or no partisan groups there, but please, if you have community efforts that you want to do, please use our office. We're located at Empire and Rogers. So I also want to invite people, I hope you saw this, we're going to have our Women of Distinctions event coming up in June, and we invite people to send us your nominations. I'm very excited about our Juneteenth event coming up. It's going to be on Saturday, June 17th, just outside of CB17 starting at the Flatbush African Burial Ground. And we're heading to the the Lefferts Historic House. I think this is a really important event to participate in because the Lefferts Historic House is now reassessing its history and recognizing the enslaved Brooklynites who helped build our community, and they have been left out of the story. We're changing that right now, and I think to have community ownership of that and to have Prospect Park to really reach out to the community is an important opportunity to really use that as a real community space for everyone. And I had 31 bullet points about all the legislation. There's a lot going on. I'm not going to go through all of that. I do want to mention one thing that I think has been left out of a lot of the discussion is the New York State minimum wage is going to be going up. So this is a win. I think this is important. If people are going to work, there should be value to work, and we should represent that. So I'm very glad with that. We have been working as an office also, and Brian has been working very hard to bring resources to the community. We have, for instance, $500 million going to safety net hospitals. We're working to fund programs for first-time home buyers, for people in rent arrears, and I think there's a lot of room for innovative ideas. One of the ideas that Brian has been working on is to make it difficult for bad faith landlords to get loans. I mean, you can try finding them. That doesn't seem to be working very well. There needs to be a way to make sure that people who are not acting in good faith have trouble financing themselves. It's recognizing that it's very hard to be a landlord. We want to support people who are trying and support people who are struggling. But, there should be some consequences to bad action. And of course, I heard you all about the Kingsborough project. There's various Vital Brooklyn things. We're very much welcome to hear everyone's input on that. Please contact our office if you don't have our email. Okay, my email address is, so my name is Raul Rothblatt. My email address is ROTH, B as in Bob, L as in Larry, ATTR@nyassembly.gov. Does anybody, if anybody needs to repeat that, please let me know. So does anybody have any questions or, yep? Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm the district guy, so I don't follow all the legislative stuff. But yeah, that one I think is a very good idea to have paper ballots You can still have the electronic version. And we got pressure from both sides on that bill. So, there definitely were people who were working against it, but yes, we were supporting that bill enthusiastically. There's some lobbyists, I don't know.
Again,
But no, they had some genuine concerns. And a lot of things can be more complex. So, they have their reasons, but, we have ours too. Yep.
I'm sorry. I just want to do this again, a sense of time.
Okay.
I'm going to ask if you have a question, please just see him in the back. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Thank you for your time.
Wait.
Okay. Recently, Governor Herschel, whatever her name is, my apologies, attempted to address the housing situation. How did the Assemblyman vote on that issue? Did he support her? Because the crisis we're having right now is because Long Island and Westchester is not doing the future. What was Cunningham's position on this matter?
I believe that was part of the big ugly, as they called it. So, this was part of a huge omnibus of bills. And so there's many issues involved in that. And some of that, were negotiations.
Excuse me, point of order.
So-
It's a very simple question. Did he support it or did he not?
So the assembly member did vote yes on the big ugly, as it's called, the major funding bill. So, and I think it addressed a lot of those issues. But I'm not the legislative director. I'd be glad to, give you a more complete answer if you call the office. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Any other elected officials online? Mr. Robinson, I saw you. Come forward. While he's come forward, anybody online, please be observant of the time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. James, go ahead, James.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm James Christopher. I'm from Office of Assembly Member Rodney's Bichot Hermelin. I'm her communications director. She sends her greetings tonight. She's in Albany, unfortunately, so she couldn't be here in person. And we just wanted to share that our assembly office is holding a Men's Day of Health on Thursday, June 8th. And we're having a van outside of our office to do mobile prostate screenings. There's a very high rate of prostate cancer in our community and for men in general. And just for about 1 in 8 American men develop prostate cancer at some point in their lives. And you can take hold of your health and advantage of this prostate cancer screening in your convenience. So this is a free prostate test and cancer screening, and it will be conducted by the Mount Sinai Mobile Prostate Cancer Screening Unit. So again, this will be on Thursday, June 8th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this will be at the Assemblywoman's district office, which is 1312 Flatbush Avenue. I'm going to drop the link to register in the chat, and you can also visit the Assemblywoman's website, and all the information will be there as well. And 1 week prior to that, we're also going to have a virtual session explaining what the test does. And also wanted to just let you know that this is being done in conjunction with Senator Kevin S. Parker and Councilwoman Farrah Lewis. And again, you can visit the Assemblywoman's website to get more information, and you can also contact us Our phone number is 718-940-0428. And you can also feel free to email me. My email is Christopher, CHRISTOPHER, J at nyassembly.gov. And we really encourage everyone to come out to this because this is this really affects our community a lot, and it's a very convenient way to get tested for free.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Yes.
The governor was trying to, thank you, voted that the governor was trying to pass. If you don't know, I would like to request at the next board meeting that you give us an indication of whether or not she supported the housing measure or whether she did not, whether she voted against it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Assembly Member Chandler Waterman's office. Is there any, could you put in the chat if anybody just represents somebody online, please? Put it in chat. Put it in the chat, please. Say it again.
Not of them left.
Okay, that's fine.
Galton Robinson, representing Assemblymember Monique Chandler Waterman. Real quickly, our office has just recently been inundated with a lot of calls about quality of life issues. We are, our office is willing to be working with Board 17 to make sure we address some of these issues, be it for sanitation, abandoned cars, pruning of trees, speeding cars are on the street, so on and so forth. So I'm sure I'll be reaching out to the board to see how we can at least partner, talking to a lot of these commissioners and everything to see how best we will be able to address some of these issues. The Assembly members actually started doing some of that with the establishment of our task forces in public safety, mental health, education, small businesses, clergy. And through our various discussion, we normally try to find solutions to some of these problems. Our office, is located at 903 Utica Avenue, and a part of our public engagement, she hosts every third Saturday a Vital Voice meeting at various locations throughout the community. And upcoming on Friday, May 26th, we'll be having a shredding event in front of our office at 903 Utica Avenue from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then continuing after that, the month of June, Caribbean month, we'll be having some events in Albany, and Juneteenth event to honor some fathers. So if there's anyone out there who think there might be a father that we can recognize, please call our office and let us know. Of course, recently, you know that our district map has also changed, even beat slightly. So the next election, we'll see a different thing. And Ms. James, I was trying to figure out more that you're talking about. I didn't see it, but I certainly will get back to you on that to see how she voted, all right? Yes.
All right, I'll get back to it, Mr. Robertson.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. At this point, Mr. Roth, oh, by the way, I just realized based upon the agenda, we didn't need a vote because presentation does come after legislative report. It just happened to be at the wrong place on the agenda. All right, so Mr. Roth, special report, board member, I know you had your hand up from earlier. You got the floor first. There's no presentation. Presentation has been canceled.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for hosting me. I'm not sure if it's entirely the right platform. I just had a little bit of a personal concern earlier this week, and maybe it's something for the Transportation Committee, but I figured I'd just mention it, and if anyone knows, you could just comment. Basically, I was with my wife on a bus, and we have 2 kids, so we have a double stroller, and I know it's a little bit complicated fitting it on the bus, but we were basically throwing off 2 buses in a row in like a rather not friendly way. So I know there's something about folding strollers, but it's not always so practical. So I'm not fully aware of the legal elements of it. Like I believe there might be some laws protecting strollers, there might not be. So I just wanted to open up a conversation if there's like, if anyone knows what the current legal status is, if maybe we could like recommend as a community to make more protection for strollers, because I know like my wife doesn't want to use public transportation now, and I want to be able to use it. So just a thought and a question.
All right, so I would appreciate an email on that as well, because I don't know the answer either. And I don't want to give you one off the cuff of my, off the cuff. Okay, any other special report board members? Ms.
Julia
James and then Mr. Lewis.
I'll be 30 seconds. I just want to impress on the board members that we need to lobby our local, state, and state senators and assembly persons that the next budget, when it comes around, we get the housing bill that the governor was trying to pass. Because the reason we are suffering in Brooklyn right now is because folks in Long Island and Westchester are refusing to have multiple family housing for their own children, which forces them into Brooklyn and is forcing us out. That is why we're having a crisis. That is why rents are going up. So we need to lobby our local representatives, especially at the state level. This is a state issue, not just a city level, city issue, that they try to pass that law to get the other areas to increase their housing stock.
Thank you. Any other report board member?
Just wanted to touch upon the,
So, as we all know, on a federal level, Title 42 has been disbanded, which was created by Trump to bottleneck legal immigration, right? Now, in New York City, over the past 2 years, 61,000 immigrants have come into the city at a cost of $4.2 billion. That number could double or triple based on Title 42. So our main focus has to be what are we going to do and push our political leaders to do. Number one, the easiest thing and the most viable thing is to get these people visas, get them bank accounts to start to pay taxes. We have to push that. Once we push that, that will create what we would consider a viable as well as a thriving community, right? We have all the problems with homelessness, in the schools, overcrowding, additional overcrowding with the immigrants that's in, ESL, all of these things. So I think that should be a focus of the community board, in particular, how we deal with the migrants that are coming here. And again, legally, remember Title 42 was a bottleneck to stop legal immigration. If you come to this country based on asylum and you come through any port that is law, you could apply for asylum from your country. You could be denied or not to be denied, doesn't make a difference, but we have to understand that and understand how it affects our community.
Thank you for that. Mr. Dovid.
yeah, I just wanted to touch upon what was mentioned earlier about the 599 Clarkson Avenue, the homeless shelter that we should, I actually used to live on the other side, north of Clarkson Avenue, and my synagogue is in is on Albany and near Rutland, so I pass there probably about 6 to 8 times a day. My children go to school in, they have to go through Albany Avenue in that corner. There's schools on East New York, near Troy Avenue, they have to go around. So basically, our families living from Clarkson, Lenox, Linden, Church, Snyder, anyone near Albany Avenue, the schools, the children walking past there, there's homeless people already always by the bus stops, and they're drunk, they're drugged, they're whatever it is. They're just, it's definitely a safety hazard. And it's actually not affecting them, Board 9, because they don't come past there. So it's a very long block, and it encompasses from Winthrop. Technically, it's Parkside also, but it's just a massive block all the way Winthrop to Clarkson. And it doesn't touch them. It's at the edge, it's at the border. That's why I cross the street from my house, which is the border of Community Board 9. All those cars are never taken away because nobody calls about them, because it's like it's a quarter mile away from anyone's house. No one sees it. It's a different community board. So that area really belongs to, technically is affecting us and Board 17. No one on that board, it's not affecting anyone on that board. They're never gonna walk past there. They're never gonna come past there. So just wanted to speak to that. Personally, I'm right over there, very affected, and that's all for tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. No, she was telling him the time.
So what we have to look at, again, the homeless issue, number one, what they do with the homeless folks. Between the hours of 7 to 6 or 7 to 7, they send them out. There's no program for them. There's no organization, whether they need mental health, therapy, whatever the case, they need a job. This is, again, part of what we need to fight for, right? These folks, some of them, they come in, they're formally incarcerated. They put into these homeless shelters. People don't hire them because they have felonies, wherever. We have to change that dynamic. The main thing is getting these people to whatever specific need they have or dealing with that need. That is not being done. It's not mandated by New York state law or city law. And this is where we have to push. These are the agendas that we have to push. That's the reason why homeless people will be out and about, because they cannot go back inside until a certain time. So those things have to change in order for you to have less homelessness, less vagrancy, less of all of that that's happening. It's a monetary thing, economics. Once we deal with that, we would be able to change some of those dynamics.
Hold on. I'm kind of really, it's 9:52.
30 seconds, no more.
Can you make it 15?
18 seconds. I was walking by the corner and the guy tells me, yeah, I just got out of jail. I said, what did he do? He said, I murdered my friend. So just to have him out about, like you said, no job, just walking around a few feet away from my home. We don't want, whatever it is, it's too much. No more of that, please.
Thank you. Yes, you quickly.
And quickly, just in response to a lot of things that have been addressed, I just want to alert us that the need statement and the most pressing issues document will be coming out soon. And I think these are areas that you could input what is happening in our community so it could be addressed. So look out for our need statement, our capital expense document, and our most pressing issues document, because it is within these documents that we can begin at least addressing some of these concerns that you're bringing up.
You know, I'm just, my only comment on this, because it's bothering me as well, right, is that in certain communities, less of these programs are happening. And I think what Treasurer Lewis is talking about is that we need to try to diversify the communities and the areas that they're putting these things in. And that requires letters to the legislation, just like I asked for the Assembly Member Cunningham's to his office to look at other areas in other communities where some of these homeless shelters can go to help out. Because just to throw them in there, just like the migrants issue, it's causing major issues because they have influx on all levels. So yes, we do understand and we're going to try to work with that. With that being said, okay, thank you for that update, right? But again, addressing all of that, but that inclusive of, right? 9720 Kings Highway is a homeless shelter that they're gonna put in there. They have one on Kings Highway and Foster Avenue, I believe, right across from right next to the Lincoln, or what is it, Lincoln, whatever Cadillac, it used to be right, and a few others that are here. So that all of these things are added in to some of the concerns that we're stating, right? So okay, with that being said, that special report is closed. Unfinished business? None. New business? None. Old business? None. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Huh?
Motion. Treasurer Lewis, motion.
Second, Mr. Hill, you're gonna get the honor your first time. Mr. Hill seconds the motion. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, please note, please do not put it in your schedule that the meeting is 2 hours. That's a falsehood. Okay? The meeting is minimum 2.5 hours. So stop it and stop bothering me. And good job today. Much better. Thank you.